two. Ooh, I'm the dookie. I go hard, sometimes I go smoothly. Everybody knows me, people call me holy. I'm so famous, but I even got my own emoji. Everyone wants to be number one. True. Yeah, it's much better being number two.
We do it for the kids! For the kids!
Emma's a pimp!
Wait until the Reaper takes my life.
Lucky for you, you are right where you need to be. So sit back, relax, and turn up the volume on your streaming device. Johnny Ballgame, Sir Poops a Lot, and the Fantasy Reaper are about to deliver humor and fantasy gold at the same time. Crush your opponent with a smile. It's Fantasy Sports Island.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Island.
Hey.
Welcome to the show, Frank Trevitt. Johnny Ballgame. How you doing, Johnny?
So good, man. So good.
Did you have
My
a
fantasy.
bounce back week?
No, sure didn't. Sure. I mean, I had a better than I've been doing week. So, yeah. Still lost head to head in almost every league, but other than that, doing fantastic.
You know, it was a weird week this week. A lot of people have bad weeks, including the Fantasy Reaper. But you know, let's welcome to the show, Nacho Libre! Tony Sir Poops a Lot.
What's happening? Good to see you guys.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Still a little aggro about football, but I'm all right.
Yeah, we were just talking about this right before the show began. If you look at the top 10 in your league in scoring at quarterback, just remind yourself, it's only 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Folks,
So,
after Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, here's your next several quarterbacks on the list. Jalen Hurts, Tua. We got Mahomes, Carson Wentz, Herbert, Geno Smith, Trevor Lawrence, and Kyler Murray. That's your top 10. It's week 3. Relax. Things will shake out. Welcome to the show. We are the inventors of PPR. Welcome.
Yep.
And if you
Seriously.
like
You're welcome.
PPR, hit the like button, damn it. Hit that like button.
well played. Nice transition. Nice.
Subscribe to the channel because we do this every single week.
Whether you want us to or not.
I mean, we don't give a shit. We're here. So we're just going to
talking
do
phone.
it.
We would be doing this just on the phone. So, we don't care.
Yeah, we just throw the camera on just for fun. We don't care.
Yeah.
And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that when we do come on and stream, you can watch it. How's that sound?
Beautiful. I just want to show everybody that Kings Island is represented here today.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
And if you know, you know.
You know, Johnny, I've always wanted to ride the Beast at Kings Island, and someday I'm going to make that a trip. I'm going to hit up Kings Island and Kings Dominion, and I'm going to try all them rides.
Boom. Do it.
Boom. Boom.
Let
and
us, let us know when. Tony and I'll visit home too. Yeah.
Cedar Point too, baby.
Yeah, you got to head up to
Point.
Cedars Point like
Cedar
3
Point's
hours north.
fantastic.
You can do it.
Yeah. All right,
Make
we
it
got a
better.
nice show tonight for you, folks. So you're going to want to stick in till the end. We're going to do some news and notes, our fantasy heroes and our fantasy zeros for the week. We'll talk about some waiver wire stuff. And then we're going to see if we need to hit the panic button on a few guys. We're going to talk about guys that are struggling, and is it time to cut bait, hit the panic button, or just chill? All right, so we're going to do that at the end.
Chill, baby, baby. Chill, baby, baby. Wait.
Welcome to Fantasy Sports Island. We hope you enjoy the show. Let's get started, guys, with some news and notes. Here we go. In Miami, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is planning to play in Thursday night's game versus the Bengals. There was some concern that the Dolphins tried to circumvent the concussion protocol in Sunday's game. Tua appeared to hit his head on the ground and get up, and he was real wobbly after he hit his head on the turf. But the Dolphins say it wasn't a head injury. It was a minor back injury, which is why he lost his balance. And he was not evaluated for a concussion. And so the NFL is investigating the matter. Now, John, have you ever seen a guy hurt his back and then not be able to kind of like stand straight and wobbled like that, John?
Now, we were all watching it, and we all said Tua's got a concussion because Tua's head got slammed to the ground and Tua couldn't walk. That was not a neck injury. That wasn't a back injury. That was an absolute concussion, and he just happened to be able to come back in like players used to do back in the day. But, yeah, he should be in the concussion protocol, and he's not.
Yeah, I think they were trying to circumvent the rules in the NFL, knowing that he wouldn't return to the game, and then he could go into the protocol and maybe miss next week, and they don't want that because they're playing Thursday. So, Tony,
100%.
I mean, so we know Tua's going to play, right, for Thursday night's game. Do you have any concerns of any lingering effects from this concussion that we all know he has?
I guess not, just because he looked decent the second half, and their news is coming out Miami that he's fine. So I guess he's all right. You know, I think he's good to go. It did freak me out a little bit though, man. To get woozy like that does not look good. Mm-hmm. Last time I threw my back out, I pooped my pants. But I didn't get dizzy.
Actually, what he meant to say is he pooped his pants and threw his back out doing that because he had a strong.
Right.
You know, it is weird, though, that the Dolphins tried to circumvent something because that almost never happens.
Never.
Yeah, it's not their style.
All right, on to last night's game where the Cowboys prevailed over the Giants. Sterling Shepard, though, he didn't prevail at all. He suffered a season-ending injury by tearing his ACL walking.
I mean, he was light jogging, but yeah.
He was yogging.
He was yogging.
I've never seen an injury like that, John. I've seen guys kind of running and then step weird and hurt themselves, but I've never seen a guy who was coming to a complete stop and tear his ACL.
I haven't either. I could see an Achilles because that does happen. Like sometimes you can just do it on a step or you do. I've never seen anybody tear their ACL walking in a straight line where his cleats weren't stuck in the ground. Like that ACL literally just went, you know what? I'm done. Like that was that. There was no reason for it. He just went. The ACL was just like, no, I'm done for the season. I'm out.
So now that we know Sterling Shepard, who was having a pretty good, couple weeks here, he's out. Who do we look to on the Giants fantasy-wise to step up and take the lead role, the wide receiver one on that team? Tony, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I've always been into that. Was it Kadarius Toney? I mean, how he's injured, right? I love that. Yeah. These guys are always hurt. Kenny Galladay looked like, he's going to complain all he wants, but he can't even hold on to the ball. He might even get traded.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who was the
Richie James?
Yeah, James looks pretty good, and I like that tight end too. Didn't look too bad.
You always like tight ends.
Yeah, you do.
Always.
You're talking about Daniel Bellinger?
I think so, yeah. Bellinger. That's it. Yeah. He looked decent. So I don't know. Besides Barkley, I don't know what they're going to do.
I'm keeping an eye, and he's injured right now. So this is later on in the season, but I'm keeping my eye on Wan'Dale Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy I'm keeping my eye on because he played college football in a top conference, and he was really, really good. He's got a lot of talent. I think I'm going to keep my eye on Wan'Dale Robertson. If he's on the waiver wire, folks, just keep an eye on him. Sneakily pick him up in a week or two before he comes back from his injury. What do you think, John?
I don't know enough about that guy. I like Richie James. I actually thought they used him in the run game. They used him in the pass game. I liked him before I found out what's-his-face tore his ACL walking. So, now that they don't have Sterling Shepard, Galladay is a complete bust. There's not Kadarius Toney is always injured. There's not that many healthy people to throw to, and I liked what I saw out of Richie James for the little bit that I saw him. So I picked him up in a league.
And that's why we call him cadaverous Tony. I mean, he's dead. He never plays. He plays half a game. He's hurt and he's done. So and Sterling Shepard was kind of like that too for most of his career, and he hurts himself walking. They're just dropping like flies. No one to throw to. The line's terrible. You saw Daniel Jones was under constant fire, and he kind of did a good job just to to rush.
I was impressed with him yesterday.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I thought he's not the problem in
No.
that offense. He's not the
I
problem.
was just going to ask if you give that guy more time, do you think he's going to look more impressive?
You put that guy on the Dolphins with those receivers that he's got, what they've got. You put him on almost any other team with the receivers. Like put him on the Bengals with those 3 receivers. We're talking about Daniel Jones as an all-star. Like that guy's not the issue. He's accurate. He's got a strong arm. You saw him lay that ball out there. Of course, his receiver couldn't get to it because they're Giants receivers. I don't think he's the problem.
Yeah, he can run too.
And he can run, yeah.
And Kenny Golladay bitches that he doesn't get the playing time and he deserves the playing time. Let me tell you something. That's not how you prove you need playing time, by dropping wide open balls.
For sure, first down.
For sure. All right. Amon St. Brown appears to avoid significant injury. He rolled his ankle. His test came back negative. Says he's going to try to play Sunday, so that's good news. Even if he does not play this week, it's probably not a long-term injury. Woo! Thank God, because I have him in almost every league. And when he went down, I didn't even know it. I was at a football game on Sunday, and Tony texted me, Amon is hurt. No! My first reaction was like, hell no! But thank God he's okay.
Chuck dropped his nachos. There's no doubt. He dropped his nachos trying to get to his phone. Like, what the fuck?
Absolutely, Johnny. So, okay, so Amon's okay. What do we think about the Lions, though? Because now we're hearing that DeAndre Swift is going to be out probably a couple more weeks until the bye with a shoulder issue. And so, does the offense take a hit? Do they pass more? What are we thinking fantasy-wise, Johnny?
No, I mean, Williams played really well. I mean, they've got 2 really good running backs, and they happen to have a guy who's actually a little tougher, can run inside. He's gonna get the red zone carries. I'd roll with Williams. If you got Swift and didn't handcuff him with Williams, shame on you, because Swift hasn't finished the season yet.
That's true. Yeah, good point. All right, let's talk about the Chargers, because I was at this game. Chargers coach Brandon Staley said it was his decision and his decision alone to keep Herbert in for the entire game, even when the game was out of reach. Also, the Chargers lost Rashawn Slater, their right tackle, who'll miss the entire season with a torn bicep muscle, and wide receiver Jalen Guyton tore his ACL on a route that he was trying to run towards the end of the game. I watched that game, and by halftime, I was saying they need to pull Justin Herbert. He wasn't right. He was throwing the ball into the ground. He was afraid of contact. Anytime there was any pressure, he would just throw it at the feet of the receiver.
Yeah.
Now I need to ask, what the fuck are we doing with your franchise quarterback down by 28 points in the fourth quarter? Why is he still in the game? Tony, help me.
Because they're stupid, irresponsible.
Oh, well, that actually makes sense.
No other way. I mean, what is it? I mean, okay. You got a team that definitely has the potential to, make some damage, cause some damage, and actually make a comeback. But not the way they were playing that day, and not when you have an injured quarterback. What if you saw him wince on that first pseudo kind of sack or whatever. What if he got hit one more time and it just ruined the next 4 weeks or the season? What are you doing, man? It's so disappointing.
He doesn't even have a designation right now, does he?
No, I mean he made it through okay. He's going to play next week. But when they were down 31-10 going into the fourth quarter, what are we doing?
Why would you play? If they're playing Houston next week, why not chance your backup quarterback and rest that guy? Let his ribs heal up. I would not play him next week.
Not if you
saw
look
him.
Not if you look like that. I mean, that was not good.
Terrible. It was terrible.
And I think they really need their slot receiver back. Say what you want about Keenan Allen, but when he's not there, they're not as good offensively, and it shows.
Nope. Mike Williams is not Mike Williams. Nothing about that was good.
No. And by the way, folks, Austin Eckler sucked again. He sucked again. They do not block for him. They're not giving him every snap. They're bringing running backs in and out of the game. He's not the goal line back at certain times. This is who he is. He's an RB2. We told you.
Sure do.
Tried to tell you. So if you have Austin Eckler and you haven't tried to trade him yet, what are you waiting for? Get him off your team, folks. Get a different guy. Get a different guy. He's gonna disappoint. All right, enough of that. Mac Jones will be out multiple weeks with the high ankle sprain. Do we even care though? Does anyone have Mac Jones as their fantasy quarterback?
Well, I'm in that league where you play two quarterbacks.
Yeah, 2 quarterback leagues. I could see why you
I could see that. Yeah.
I lost. Who did I lose? I had Lance and Dak. So I lost both of them. So I had Winston as my third. So I had to pick up Mac, and then he gets hurt.
God, dude, you are the quarterback killer this year.
I know, it's ridiculous. It's only like a $20 league, so at least it's my least favorite one, but still.
Hey, Johnny. So we saw Devontae Parker kind of have a big night. Like he caught some deep balls. Did that excite you in any way? You're going on the waiver wire picking up Devontae Parker?
I picked him up in one league just because I've got like Tony, I got a bunch of injuries in that league, so I kind of dropped, and I got just some massive underperformers. I actually picked him up a couple of weeks ago thinking he might go off, and then dropped him because he didn't, and then picked him back up because he's got the skills. He's easily the most talented receiver on that team. I'm not sure who the backup even is in New England, but I'm hoping he's looking at Devontae. So yeah, I picked him up. I took a flyer on him. I'm not going to start him for a bit, but I needed a backup.
Okay. All right.
Fantasy Heroes and Zeros.
Let's do some fantasy heroes and fantasy zeros. Fun
Sure.
stuff, right? All right. So we're going to talk about some fantasy heroes, and we'll just discuss these guys and how they performed. Let's start with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. 18 of 29, 219, 4 more passing touchdowns through 1 pick. Also carried the ball 11 times for another 107 yards and a touchdown. So that's 2 weeks in a row where he threw at least 3 touchdowns and also rushed for 100 yards and got a touchdown
And a
on the
tutty.
ground.
Yep.
Wow.
MVP.
You think?
Yeah.
That's the guy I drafted last year.
Yep. You missed him by a year. The
Yep.
Ravens are 3-0. No, they're not. They're 2-1. The Dolphins
2-1.
got them. 2-1.
Yeah.
But they look good. And Lamar Jackson is the front runner for the MVP right now, even over Josh Allen, in my opinion. Because he's
Honestly,
doing
Allen, I think, is third because I think Jalen Hurts, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, deserves some.
That was my next guy, Johnny. Good call. Jalen Hurts, 22 of 35, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he added 20 yards on the ground. Again, Lamar, these running quarterbacks, Lamar, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, not only are they throwing for 300 or more yards and throwing for 3 or 4 touchdowns, they're also getting you an extra touchdown by rushing for 60 or more yards in a lot of games or getting a touchdown on the ground. This is a cheat code. These guys are by far the best 3 quarterbacks in the league.
Oh, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's not even close. Yeah. Talk to me about Jalen Hurts, though. Are you impressed with what you're seeing, Tony? And will this continue?
Yeah, I am. I'm very much impressed. I wasn't really on the wagon. I mean, I liked him, talented. I see where he's ranked. I like the team, but I didn't see these kind of numbers. I'm shocked. I would have given him he's going to be a number 8, number 9 QB. That's how I felt. The only thing I can say is, and I've seen it before, except for somebody with like Michael Vick or Randall Cunningham days, where the teams eventually catch up, where they're able to slow them down a little bit, and they're going to have to resort to throwing the ball more. But the way it looks now, both QBs are throwing the hell out of the ball. So you got to watch both. Are they going to run it or are they going to throw it? But I kind of feel maybe by week 7, 8, 9, they're not going to be able to run as much. But that doesn't mean they're not going to get some goal line touches, running, get some touchdowns. But I don't think they're going to be running 100 yards every week.
So here's what I want to say about Jalen, though. This is what impressed me about him this week. He only ran for 20 yards. He threw for 340 passing yards, threw for 3 touchdowns. That's different. That's not the Jalen Hurts we're used to. We're used to him rushing for 100 yards, maybe throwing for $190 and a couple of touchdowns. He was on. And, I mean, he was on as a passer. So
And you want to know what impressed me about Jalen Hurts this week? He didn't rely on AJ Brown. He was hitting Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
He was hitting Goddard. He was hitting a bunch of guys. He was spreading the ball out. He looks good. I was wrong about him. He's not as inaccurate as I was trying to tell people he was. He's throwing some nice balls right where they need
some
to
dimes
on time. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about Devontae Smith. He had 8 for 169 and a touchdown. Week 1, he gets 0. Okay. And everyone's like, oh my God, Devontae Smith is a bust. And then he comes back with 2 consecutive great weeks. And AJ Brown has kind of settled down. And now Devontae Smith looks like the guy. So what do we think? What's going to shake out here, Johnny?
I think it's unfortunately going to be one of those week to week things, and they're going to go back and forth with each other. So, I mean, even though AJ Brown, it was a down week, he had 5 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. Let's not talk about how bad he was. Like, he still did pretty good. Yeah, still, 19 points in most formats. So, still not a bad little week for him. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things where AJ is going to get double teamed, and so they're going to throw to Devontae, and then Devontae's going to get double teamed. They'll throw to AJ. I think it's just going to go back and forth. It's going to frustrate fantasy managers all season for sure.
Yeah. I'm already frustrated.
It's like the Bengals. Is it T? Is it Javante? Is it Boyd this week?
Right.
I was hoping that was going to be the case in Buffalo. Is it Diggs or is it Gabe Davis? But it's been Diggs.
It's Diggs.
It's Diggs. And it's Josh Allen. Josh Allen, 42 of 63. That's right. He threw the ball freaking 63 times. 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also added 47 yards on the ground. Again, cheat code. Josh Allen, he didn't do a good job managing the clock in 2 different scenarios at both ends of the first half and the ball game. That cost his team the game ultimately. But my God, this guy is on cruise control. He is the number 1 quarterback right now in most formats, and I think that's going to continue.
Yeah.
With ease.
Yep.
Yeah. It looks like he's, in fantasy at least, he is the best quarterback. Okay, let's go back to the Ravens game. We'll talk about Mark Andrews, who is tight end 1 now. 8 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. Looked great again. By the way, Royce from our show, has Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews on the same team, and he happened to play me last week. So thank you, Royce. Thanks for the beatdown, buddy. But yeah, let's talk about Mark Andrews. Is he better than Kelsey now? Can we make that official?
Yeah, I think so. I think
we could say he's as good. I don't know if we could say he's better yet. I don't know if I buy that he's better, but I think he's as good. I mean, they're probably 1 and 2 at the position.
We'll see in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I want to see him do it for a full season.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
All right, let's talk about some guys that bounce back. Some guys that a lot of people were giving up on. They're not dead yet. First one, Tennessee. Johnny, Derrick Henry goes for 20 carries, 85 yards, touchdown. But here's the kicker. He got 5 catches for 58 yards. He got an extra 10 points. Catching the ball. Thank you. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Talk to me about Derrick Henry. How do you look?
Loved it. I thought he looked the best he's looked since his injury. Like, it was the first game where I went, oh, Derrick's back. Like, it looked like, like you said, he was catching the ball out of the backfield. His feet looked more nimble. He didn't look like he had any lingering effects. I don't think his line is super awesome. I mean, they've already lost Taylor Lewan, their starting left tackle again for the season. So they're already down a major alignment in that group, and yet he still managed to get himself 85 and a tutty, and then some catches. So he looked really good. Yeah. It's nice to have him back.
Dameon Pierce bounced back week, Tony. 20 carries, 80 yards, finally got in that end zone, caught 2 balls for 21 yards, completely outsnapped Burkhead. Looks like he's the main guy now. How are we feeling about Dameon Pierce these days, Tony?
Better. He had some pep in the step. He was a little quicker through the hole. They gave him the ball. They focused, they focused on him giving him the ball anyway. So that's exciting. I just traded for him in one of my leagues on last Thursday. So of course the guy's like, he's not going to do that. I'll trade him. And he finally had a good Sunday. So
nice.
He looked more like we saw him in camp. We saw him in preseason. he
Yeah.
looked like that. So I'm excited.
I'd like to see him more involved in the passing game. That'll make me feel
No doubt.
really good about him. Just a couple catches wasn't great, but boy, he looked good when he ran.
Yeah.
And Tony, you're a freaking shark. That was a great trade
That was a
at the
great
right
trade.
time.
I was thinking that too.
And
Nice-
tell
nice
the
buy
world
low.
who did you give up for him?
Cortland Sutton, actually.
That was a great trade. It was ballsy.
Yeah, I mean, It wasn't. It still wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but I have faith in Pierce, so I was able to pull it off.
I don't know why that wasn't like to me. Like somebody offered me that, I would take a starting running back in the NFL right now. Super hard to get, and if you got that for Cortland Sutton, who's not really doing anything that much. I mean, that whole Denver offense looks like
He's been okay, but yeah, that team. I don't.
Nah.
Like that team.
I don't either. So that's a great trade, Tony.
All right. Devin Singletary, not because he rushed, but he was a hero in the passing game. He had 9 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. I didn't play him, but this is promising. I liked what I saw from Devin Singletary. Now it could have just been they were kind of, in catch up mode at the end there, and a lot of balls came his way at that point. But I feel like Devin Singletary kind of like he's emerged from that pack a little bit. He's the main running back now in Buffalo. I don't think they trust Cook yet, and I definitely don't think they trust Moss.
I feel like I'm tired of saying this. He's one of the most underutilized running backs in the NFL. I think that guy's so talented. He can catch the ball. He can run hard. He hits the hole hard. I don't get it. Again, that's, the three of us were talking this weekend about coaches and their blunderings and just really stupidness. The fact that Devin Singletary is now a featured running back in this league, I don't get it.
Yeah, if you go back to week 1 and you see the way, like you said, underutilized, you see the way they used all 3 backs until Cook fumbled. But even Zach Moss, because he fumbled too, I think, but Moss even looked like he had a little spunk. They used the running game. Yeah. So if they utilize it and they don't have to, that just gives them more weapons. So he's no longer a single carry. I still want to punch that guy, but he looks great. They got to use.
I feel you because I want to punch Nick Chubb. 23 carries, 113, and a touchdown. Yet another good game for Nick Chubb. Where was this shit last year when I had him? I don't know. We were calling for it last year, but it just never happened. Like Nick Chubb was underutilized last year.
Yeah.
They're using him this year like that, like a top 10 running back should be used. And then we got Cordero Patterson, Johnny.
Cordero
back, 17 carries, 141 and a tutty. He only had 1 catch, but whatever. He got 140.
Yeah, I don't get the lack of use in the passing game.
Yeah,
I don't get that
either.
at all.
I don't either.
All right. Well, I'll take the 17, 141. I hope this isn't an every other week thing.
I know.
Yeah, it seems like a matchup kind of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's making me upset.
All right.
Because I have to use them.
Marquise Brown, 14 catches. 14 catches for 140. That's a lot. That's a lot of action.
Yeah.
It's a lot of catches.
This will not continue because
No, it's not sustainable.
It was just something that because of injury they kind of
Green was out. Rondale Moore is out. Luke is out. I mean,
Rondale Moore is about to come back, and then they also have Nuke coming back in 2 or 3 more weeks. So, but while you got him right now, start him. Use him. That's right.
I mean, he did play college ball with Eazy-E. So, you know what I mean? So I think he's still going to get plenty of targets there, even when those guys come back. He ain't going to get 14 catches, but he'll get plenty of targets.
He just had his best game of the season.
Of his life.
Probably, yeah.
I hope you played him. All right, and the last hero came off the bench. Nobody probably started him, but Khalil Herbert. Montgomery went down with an injury. Khalil Herbert stepped in and looked really good again,
really
like last
good.
year.
Really good.
20 carries, 157. He was the top running back in football for the week. He had 2 touchdowns. Also had 2 catches for 12 yards. I'm going to say it again. I think he's more talented than Montgomery. And even when Montgomery comes back, he's supposed to play this week, I think Khalil Herbert is the guy you're going to want to have. And I know John's probably going to disagree with me on that. That's okay. Go ahead, John. Tell me what you're thinking.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to get into RBC, running back by committee, and I think we're all going to be pissed off by it. So
I agree.
I think Khalil Herbert showed he can certainly carry the load. Montgomery hasn't looked bad this year. He's actually looked really good. He just got injured and burnt most of us who started him this week. But I think it's going to be an RBBC.
You're probably right.
That's what I was concerned about because Khalil Herbert earned at least a 50-50 split by the way he looks.
At a minimum on third downs, passing because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I know he only had 2 receptions, but he'll play more. He'll play more.
All right, let's run through the fantasy zeros for the week. Not a lot of them. I mean, there wasn't a lot of duds, but these are the guys that really stood out to me. Not
Were
like
they just
this.
all on my team?
Justin Herbert was my personal dud. 22 of 45. 22 of 45. 297, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and he fumbled the ball away as well. And he looked awful. Every time he got pressured, he threw the ball at the receiver's feet. He was scared of getting hit. He should not have played in this game. He was a 0. He really came up small for me. I wish he would have just not played because I would have just played Geno Smith or somebody else. And Geno Smith went off. Damn it.
Right.
It's like, I mean, I know you're never going to play Geno Smith if you have Herbert. But damn it, I was going to if I had to.
Yeah, it's like a bye week. Just give him that 1 week to heal, man.
Just let him heal.
Yeah. Here's the thing that's so frustrating, too. He almost had 300 yards and had the shittiest game of his career. Like, just let him rest a little bit. He's going to come back and he's going to go gangbusters. Like, now when you put him like that, you're risking injury all year, and then you're just going to put him in a position to get screwed and screw the rest of us.
Carson Wentz came falling back down to earth. 25 of 43 for 211 yards, no touchdowns, and he fumbled the ball away. Tony, is the Carson Wentz illusion, has it been revealed? Is it over? Is the Wentz being a top 10 quarterback just a fantasy?
Oh, I'm sure it is, yeah. He'll have a couple more decent games, but he's not going to keep it up. There's no way. They definitely got his number. They got the whole team's number this week. So, yeah, you can't rely on him for being a top 5 QB. I mean, he could sneak in at 10. I don't even know how he does that. He's one of those QBs where you're like, oh, I guess he did okay this week. That's the way it felt last year. Every week I'm like, oh, well, he wasn't that bad. He's not going to keep it up. You can't depend on him is what I'm saying. He's not going to be your number 1 QB. There's no way.
I also feel like when Brian Robinson gets back, I think they're going to really transition to more running the ball. I really do. I just don't think this is sustainable. He's throwing the ball, coming from behind every week. It's just not. Right. That's not the way you win.
Yeah, I will say the Eagles defense is playing out of their minds right now. Yeah, so they did have a game.
They're scary, man. That team's scary.
I agree. It's easily the best team in the NFC East. I don't even think it's close.
John, talk to me about Justin Jefferson. Again, another dud. 3 receptions for 14 yards.
Well, I mean, the good news is he was my number 1 pick. So I feel real good about that return on investment. No, it was awful. Minnesota's awful. I can't believe they won that game, but I really can't believe they won it throwing to Justin Jefferson and him getting 3 catches. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't care if he's getting double teamed.
I don't either. He could catch it.
Jefferson.
Yeah. He's the best receiver in the league, in my opinion.
Disturbing.
Tyreek Hill, 2 catches, 33 yards, coming off that monster game he had the week before. No. I'm not too worried though, because that's what Tyreek Hill does. He's explosive 1 week and then he's kind of quiet the next. I kind of expect him next week to have a big play.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy. Go ahead, John.
No, I was gonna say I think he will too. I agree with you. I'm not worried about Tyreek.
Jerry Jeudy, I'm worried about though.
I am.
2 catches for 17 yards. Sutton is clearly the number 1 receiver on that team, and even he's not that great. But Jerry Judy's like a ghost.
Yeah.
He dropped a couple passes right to him as well. So, and then there was one that was tipped away from him. So I'll give him that. But he almost had a much bigger day because it was a really long pass that would probably have been a touchdown, and that defender made an unbelievable play to get a finger on it. But still, I'm worried about him.
Russell, the team's a mess. They have no identity right now, and they don't want to they should be feeding Javonte the ball. He's young and healthy and strong. It's the most frustrating thing to sit and watch the Broncos right now.
That guy is going to get Urban Meyered if he's not careful.
He might
Guys, not only did Javonte not get the bulk of the carries, did you see what they did? They brought in Mike Boone and made it a 3-headed monster in this game.
Yes.
Just made it worse, even worse. Like, what are we doing in Denver?
What did Javonte do to those guys? I don't get
Whose
it.
wife did he sleep with? I just gotta know.
Somebody.
There's something weird going on there. I don't know. There might be, seriously.
Okay. DJ, I don't even want to talk about it because it just makes me so mad. I have Javonte in a couple leagues, and he's such a talent, and they don't utilize him. All right, DJ Moore, 1 catch for 2 yards, 2 carries for 13 yards. I mean, we warned you guys about DJ Moore earlier, before the season began, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad.
Yeah.
He's getting no volume, and I think it's Baker Mayfield, right?
I think so. Yeah.
For sure, Baker Mayfield. For sure, Baker Mayfield.
This proves what I think this really shows. Baker Mayfield going to a different team and starting shows what he's all about. And
Shows he's not good in two different divisions.
I think he's arrogant, selfish decisions, and he's not that talented.
Amen. Last 0 for this week. He was a 0 in week 1. He was a monster in week 2. He's back to being a 0 this week. It's Aaron Jones in Green Bay. He only had 36 yards on the ground on 12 carries, 3 catches for 11 yards, and had a key fumble. So I think this is just going to be the way the Packers are. One week it's Jones, the other it's Dillon. This week it was Dobbs. Like, Dobbs stepped up. I was really impressed with what I saw from the rookie. Do we think Dobbs' success continues with Aaron Rodgers? He's the guy to have?
Yeah, I think he's the guy to have. I mean, they've already got 2 people sidelined for at least 4 weeks, which is Christian Kirk and Sammy. Holy crap, can't believe he's injured again, Watkins. And so, I think he's the receiver to have. I thought he looked the best in preseason anyway. So that's your guy. That's your guy.
All right, let's talk about real quick, just some waiver stuff. Talk about who we're looking at. I wanted to ask you guys, if you're in a league with Fab, free agent auction bidding, and you have a certain amount of money you can spend on free agents, would you spend your wad on Khalil Herbert right now, or would you spend your wad on Jamal Williams if both are available?
Jamal Williams.
Me too.
Jamal Williams. I agree. And here's why. Because Jamal Williams for the next 2 weeks is going to be the guy.
Yeah.
And then when Swift comes back after the bye, Jamal Williams still gets the goal line
Still
work.
going to be pretty good.
And it gets a 50% share. So for the whole season, he's got value.
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert might we don't know. And he might not have Montgomery might be back this week.
Right.
So even though he's more exciting and he's like, I don't know, to me, he's more talented, I just don't see the path to getting the most.
There's not enough upside. Yeah.
Yeah. So be careful on the budget on Khalil Herbert. I'd probably spend like 25 to 30% of my budget on him. And I'd probably go more like 50% for Jamal Williams if he's available. He's not going to be available in a lot of leagues, but if he is, you got to go heavy for him.
Yeah.
Tyler Conklin. What do we think? Is this legit? Is this real?
It's hard to say. CJ Uzama's not been playing because he's been injured. So is this sort of until CJ gets back? Is he taking the reins? He showed some talent and flashes last year. I don't know if I'm buying him yet, though. I don't know if I'm
played this week, though, Johnny.
Yeah, but he was just coming back from an injury.
Yeah.
I just don't know that he was in the full swing yet. And again,
I like
tight ends are so. I like Conklin too. I like his body size. I like the fact that he can still run. He's got good hands. But it's just such a terrible position right now for any consistency if your name's not Andrews or Kelsey.
Tyler Conklin's tight end 3 right now in fantasy football.
Yeah, but
I think that's enough said right there. Yeah.
I mean, they got him on a big contract and they paid him a good amount of money. And you got the quarterback change. So that kind of messes stuff a little bit.
It's true. We don't know what's going to happen. Who's Zach the Pimp Wilson going to like more? And is he going to like Elijah Moore over Garrett Wilson? We don't know. We'll
All
see.
I don't know.
Tony, Mac Hollins blew up this week. Do you run out on the waiver wire to get Mac Hollins?
Depends on your situation. I mean, you can't kick the guy out of bed, man. He looks amazing, but the guy on the other end is better than him, and that's the guy that should be getting all the looks. So it's another risk. If you can stash him away, like I say all the time, but it's risky. But I wouldn't mind having him on my bench.
What do you think, Johnny?
I'm with Tony. I'd put him on the bench.
Okay.
I'd sit him there for a little bit.
So if your wide receiver core is a little weak and you need some help, maybe you go get Mac Hollins and see what happens, right?
Yeah, again, I don't think that he's going to get that kind of love. I think they were showing Renfro a little bit for Renfro fumbled twice in the game, lost one of them. So I think they were kind of saying, hey, Renfro, this is what can happen to you. We'll throw it to Hollins. I don't know that that's an every week thing, but the kid's got speed. He's got talent. He's got some hands. So I would definitely stash him.
Okay. And last guy I wanted to talk about, Jacksonville, Zay Jones. He came through, had a big game. I'm not a believer in Zay Jones. I'm not a believer in Trevor Lawrence. And they have 3 good wide receivers in Jacksonville there. And I think it's like, obviously Kirk's the number 1 guy, but let's not forget that they have other players. I don't think Zay Jones is going to be doing this week to week. What do we think?
No. He did this in Oakland or Las Vegas or wherever it was. He flashed for a week or two and then nothing.
Buffalo or I had high hopes for him a few years ago, but he never did anything.
Yeah, so I wouldn't waste my time going to pick up Zay Jones because next week he could get a 0. I mean, literally. Yep. All right. You guys ready to do some panic button?
I am.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The panic button.
Let's talk about the panic button. Are we hitting the panic button on these guys? I'll go first. I want to personally know what you guys think about Justin Herbert. The offensive line is hurt. He's hurt. The offense is not, it's sputtering. They can't run the ball. I am very concerned that Justin Herbert is not going to finish as a top 5 quarterback this year, despite how much I loved him. And is it time to hit the panic button, John?
Nope. No, he almost threw for 300 yards with a fucking broken rib. Sorry. I'll say that again. He almost threw for 300 yards with a broken rib and half a line and was running back not doing crap. It's not time to panic.
So Tony, you think I'm okay? You think he's going to still finish top 5?
He needs another week to heal up.
Yep.
So hopefully nothing bad happens, which I doubt is going to happen. But he needs to get Keenan Allen healthy. Yeah. And they need to get the ball to Eckler a little more, at least throw it to him. He's going to be fine. Don't
panic.
Panties in a ruffle, brother.
I'm good. All right, John, who do you want to ask?
Man, I got a guy that Rashad Bateman. Is it time to panic? 2 catches, 59 yards, lost a fumble, had a crap game. Believe it or not, actually scored more than Justin Jefferson, but only by, decimal points. Is it time to panic?
Nope. I'm going to tell you what Rashad Bateman is. He is a big play threat. There's going to be weeks like this where he just doesn't catch a long touchdown. There's going to be other weeks where he does catch a long touchdown. So you're just going to have to go with the ebb and flow of Rashad Bateman. That's what he is. Tony?
I agree. I think he that's one of the things that was bugging me last year with the Ravens is, you know what, every team we're sitting here talking about, it's like these wide receivers are every other week guys. Yeah. But yeah, Bateman is like, he's gonna catch a 60-yard pass for a touchdown and have a big week. But I wouldn't quite panic yet. It's week 3. I know, man. I'm who I'm preaching to. I've been panicking since day 1 of the first week. I mean, the first hour, I'm saying. But yeah, I think panic's going to be all right.
Nice. I wish they would have named him Master, though.
All right. All right, Tony. Who do you want to ask?
Who do I want to ask? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm pulling up some of my teams right now because I'm at wit's end. This guy, feeling it. I don't like his numbers. I don't like the way the line has looked. I don't like the way he's looked. I'm asking both you guys right now, both of you, what do you think of Najee? He's making me really uncomfortable. It's not that he's going to have an awful season, but he's not looking like my number one pick on one of my teams right now.
I'll let you start, Johnny. What do you think?
So I'm not full on panicking, but I certainly have some anxiety. Let's just say that. He doesn't look like the same running back. And the things that plagued them last year, which was a bad line, didn't get fixed.
Yeah.
And he's got a quarterback that doesn't check down like Ben did. And so he's not getting those things. So I am for sure concerned. I'm not trading him away. I'm hanging on to him because I think smarter heads will prevail and they'll figure out a way to get Najee the ball more. But I'm with you on the I got some anxiety. I might need to take something, take the edge off.
My problem with Najee is he's dependent on volume. He's not fast. He's not particularly good at breaking tackles. What got him to be such a good running back last year was Big Ben dumping him the ball all the time.
Yeah.
And getting a lot of carries as well. And the volume equals production. But he's not getting that type of volume this year. They're trying to kind of spread it out a little bit more, and they're not dumping him the ball at all, and that's a problem. But I want to wait and see when Kenny Pickett takes over, this offense, what happens. Because I think he will dump the ball more. Typically, rookies like to depend on running backs and tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
They're security blankets. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
I wouldn't panic just yet, but
Yeah.
I am concerned like John. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, Chuck, so did you say what he lacks in speed he makes up for by not being very tough? Because that's what I heard.
That's basically it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. He is good at catching passes, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be a good third down back.
All right. I want to ask about the guy that I hate. I hate him, and I'm concerned. Dalvin Cook.
I think you should be. I think we're seeing the slowing of Dalvin Cook. I think the injuries have taken a toll on him, and I think you should be concerned. I wish I had shares of Alexander Mattison.
Tony?
I texted you. I didn't think he looked too bad the other day. He did get hurt, which
he got 96 yards.
He looked okay. Again, number one pick, okay, and not necessarily.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys feel about Najee. I have a little anxiety, but I'm not throwing in the towel yet on Dalvin Cook.
Okay. I'm not going to trade him or do anything silly, but man, he just.
He did have almost 6 yards of carry.
Yeah. All right. John, go ahead. Who do you want to ask about?
I know who I want to ask about because it's really pissing me off. Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Drafted him with high hopes. He was supposed to be my RB2. He's riding the pine right now. Should I be worried?
I'll take this one, Tony.
Okay.
Yes! Panic! Because I tell you what, James Robinson looks freaking amazing.
Looks awesome.
And when Robinson is in the game, they're just more dangerous right now. Etienne didn't look bad in the Charger game. He had some carries, and he did some things, but they're not utilizing like we hoped, like where he was going to catch 6 balls out of the backfield every week. That's not happening. And he's being overshadowed by James Robinson, who looks great. So I'd be panicking. Yeah, I traded him. I panicked already. So
so you did panic.
Yeah, Tony, you agree?
Yeah, I have to agree. I did not see that coming or this coming at all.
No. He's getting better every week, so I will say that. He's getting right around the same targets, though. He got 4 the first week, 3. At least he's catching all of his targets, but yeah, he's really got me worried.
No,
he's not an RB2 like we hoped.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody hoped. Everybody thought.
Yeah. I've never rooted for a player to get injured, but if James Robinson went down, I feel like he's very valuable.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Tony, who do you want to ask about?
I'm going to ask you, Chuck, because this is one of your boys, and you've been really watching him for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not like he's going to have a complete failure of a season, but I am not liking the way Debo looks or the way Debo's being used. I'm worried about Debo Samuel. What do you think?
I'm not worried, especially now that Garoppolo's at the helm. I think Debo will not only get his carries, he'll catch more balls this way. If it was Trey Lance, I'd be a little more worried, but I'm not worried with Garoppolo because he does look Debo's way. Debo, I think, ended up with like 14, 15, 16 points this week. Not too bad.
Okay. He did okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm really expecting him to be like, 150 yards receiving and 60 yards rushing or something right now. And I'm being impatient.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen because that stopped happening about halfway through the season last year.
Yeah.
And when they started to incorporate him into the running game more. But he was making up what he wasn't getting in yards and passing on the ground. And I think he's fine. I do. I have him. I'm not panicking.
Okay.
I think the best is yet to come for Debo. Give it time.
All right.
I am 100% in Chuck's camp.
All right.
All right. Is there anyone else that we want to ask about, or do we feel good?
Oh, I got to ask about somebody.
All right.
TJ Hockenapaloogie. TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Are we panicking?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. It doesn't look like they're utilizing him the same way they did last year. That's for sure. And Amon St. Brown is probably the main culprit of that. But he did catch a touchdown this week to salvage a decent day. But really, I don't think he got too many targets. So I am a little concerned. Yeah.
Me too.
You dropped him.
Me too.
Right?
And what's I'm in one league. I've got him in.
Yeah.
I've got him in literally 3 other leagues.
Oh, okay.
I drafted him in every single league this year. So yeah, Hawkinson. The thing that's pissing me off is he's seriously talented tight end, and he's just not getting any looks, and I don't get it.
Yeah. The tight end position sucks.
It's rough.
Oh, it's so bad.
Really rough.
It's rough. I'm struggling with Dawson Knox. I really thought that he was going to get more looks. He's a little banged up, but he's just like
He's always a little banged up.
Yeah, they're not. They don't need him. They just threw to Isaiah McKenzie instead.
Yeah, they got too many weapons in Buffalo, and Knox is very touchdown dependent. And so far, I don't think he's even gotten a touchdown. So
And he hasn't.
All right, guys, we are simply out of time. Another show wrapped up for this week. We appreciate you watching. I want to thank Johnny Ballgame.
Thanks, guys. Hey, hit the bell. Speaking of bangs, hit the bell. Hit the bell.
Definitely.
We'll
And
wait.
Tony, Sir Poops a lot.
I don't poop. What are you talking about?
Just like 5 times a day.
Yeah, I just dropped a log under my chair here. That's the first time today, though.
Yeah. Usually it's 2-3 times. So.
Yeah, at least.
All right, guys, I'm the Fantasy Reaper. We thank you for watching Fantasy
Thanks, Chuck.
Sports Island. Hit that notification bell because we do this every week. We'll be back next week. Wrap this week 4 stuff up and get ready for week 5. Appreciate your support. Thank you very much, and aloha.
Peace.